I'm super excited. We're about to go inside of the C-suite, kick down the doors of one of South Africa and the continent's brightest minds, a creative genius. I don't say that lightly. Sizakele, I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you. Hi, Zah. Welcome to Inside of her C-suite.
Thank you, Timothy. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for allowing us to kick down your doors. It's really a pleasure to have this conversation. I feel like it's come full circle. I remember I met you many, many years ago.
I was a lot younger and I had more hair, but it's so good to chat to you today.
And you've traveled the entire world. I mean, I've bumped into you in New York. You've been working globally, but with a very specific focus on Africa.
Yes, that is
Your
true.
passion is here.
That is true, but also, here's why. There's a lot of work to be done on the continent, but also if you use yourself as the reference point, then you remember that when you were a little girl, whatever magazine you were paging through, there wasn't anyone like you, right? So whether it was a shampoo ad or a luxury car brand, I didn't have enough of me in that space, and that's why when I chose advertising, I wanted to work in that space that just talks about people like us.
And I guess exposing images of people like us.
Yes.
Wow. If anyone follows you or researches you, it doesn't take long to figure out you almost like an intellectual pit bull when it comes to consciousness. Like, you do not let nonsense slide.
That's such a compliment, but it is true, it's deliberate, and there are moments where I think I could have said that in a nicer way.
That's why I said pit bull.
But I've already pressed send. Twitter doesn't have a recall, please let me frame it before they read it. But part of that consciousness is encouraging people to consume images and media with consciousness, right? So when you see an image of a young boy who's got his pants around his knees and he looks like you and I, it sends off a message that reinforces a stereotype. So I'm deliberate about saying, if we think it's funny, ha ha ha, but what does it say about us? What is the intended and unintended message? It's a lot of work. My mother says the work never stops because I just don't watch television. I'm critiquing television. She goes, I would like to just watch the show, please, if you'd let me.
Let them sing.
Yes, just let them do what they do and leave me alone. But
Nice.
We have to be deliberate about these things. If we don't challenge, then people who come after us don't have the opportunity to understand that there's an alternative existence.
You know, observing your work over the years and observing your sort of investment into this field, I've gotten a sense that you must have experienced a number of things growing up that inspired you to be this conscious and aware and not just making money. Well, could you share some of those experiences of you?
I went to school in Swaziland, which is many kilometers from here, right? And I was a little girl, I was 7. So I got on a train with a name tag around my chest, and on the other end was a nun waiting for a girl called Myra. If you repeat, oh, it's too late, because I've already told the world my middle name is Myra. But anyhow, that's how my journey in school and learning started. So Swaziland is mixed race. It doesn't have the tensions that South Africa had. So I was always conflicted because in school we were all the same. But when I came home, South Africa reminded you that there were places people like you could go and places where people who don't look like you could go. So that understanding of the construct of difference, of course I didn't have that language as a kid, but as you get older you realize, oh my goodness, so this is what this is. There's difference, there's segmentation, there's prioritization. This shouldn't be how things work. And here's a key example. I mean, my mother who raised me and sacrificed to send me to school so I could have this sort of life I now live, she also struggled with race, but she didn't understand it. I mean, the one and only time she smacked me, we were in a bank. And the reason she smacked me is because I had dared said to the white lady in front of us, we were here first, so can you please join the line? And she felt that I was embarrassing her in front of the white lady versus here's my kid affirming me as an older black woman. So those sort of examples, they put a fire under your soul, right? And you then have to be aware on an everyday basis what difference can do to drive people apart and what the role brands can have in that conversation.
Do you have a creative instinct in you, or is it something, your creative posture is something you have to nurture constantly, or a bit of both?
It is a bit of both. I think you come at things, not because creativity for me, which is an important thing, part of the challenge of our industry when they say people aren't creative, they mean they can't draw. When I say, whereas for me, creativity is about your ability to think an alternative solution to what people think is normal, right? So I think all of us are creative. I just think it's because if you label it creative in the conventional sense, then a lot of people fall off by the wayside. But it is a thing that you're born with, your ability to look at what are the colors? Is it red and blue that make green? And go, okay, I didn't know that you could do that. But then spend time surrounding yourself with art, culture, visiting museums, using music to feed your creative process. But it's an ongoing journey.
And now with your relationship, you've been able to fuse relationships with your own company, Moonchild, which we'll talk about in a second, but with Pangea. Tell us about how you were able to structure this, because it's like a dream for a lot of people to have their own business and be able to operate within structures that allow for so many things.
The starting point was collaboration. Okay. The world gets smaller when we collaborate. It really does. Okay. So you look at the shape of the industry and you think the days of the one-stop shop are really behind us, because the client is looking for a diversity of imagination, and that has to come from pockets of excellence that may not necessarily sit under one umbrella. So the idea for Pangea is literally a collective of cultural creatives, people who are mad in their own ways, but are experts in specific fields. So Moonchild functions as the strategic component of the umbrella, but we still handle accounts that are independent of Pangea. But as a whole, Pangea is this offering that says to clients, you don't have to pay twice as much as you need to. You can open this drawer and pick that one thing you want out of it. We're not going to sell you the chest of drawers if all you want is just one part. It's just one part of it. So that's and organizing it in this sort of fluid form allows for the partnership to grow, because each entity is owner run. You know, so you're not running departments, you're running companies that choose to collaborate. Yeah.
And are you a Moonchild?
I am, because I was born on the night of a full moon. Okay. It also was the night my grandfather passed away, which means my mother couldn't go to his funeral. Yes, but if I'd been born a boy, you wouldn't have liked my name. So I'll save you the torture.
I see.
I would have to say, but I am. I am restored by the moon, and I'm renewed by the ocean.
Got it.
Yeah.